Hello, welcome back to the Caleb Adamo channel. It's happened. It's finally happened. Kanye West has dropped Donda literally about 30 minutes ago. It just took me a bit of time to get this all set up, camera and everything. But we're going to react to it and listen to it together. I'm going to give my thoughts on each song as we go through, and we're going to see whether it's good or not. It better be good. I've stayed away from all of the preamble stuff that Kanye's been releasing. I've not listened to any of the shows, like the live streams he put on Apple or anything. I've not listened to any of the music. I have no idea what it's going to sound like. We're going to listen to it together. And this video is going to be titled English Teacher Reacts, because that's my job. So in my profession, I am a trained English teacher, and hopefully that gives me an interesting perspective when I listen to albums, when I listen to music. It'll give me an interesting perspective in terms of language analysis and references, literature references, ancient literature, big fan of ancient literature. So this is going to be a series going forward in which I maybe not react to every album. A lot of them are going to be reviews. This one, Donda, I really wanted to do a reaction for because it's going to be huge, hopefully. So yeah, I am an English teacher. Bear that in mind as we listen to it. Some of the things I might talk about might be referencing literature, language, either or. So, okay, let's go straight into the track list with the first song, Donda Chant. Okay.
Donda, 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 Donda.
Okay, first track was literally just somebody chanting Donda. I guess it could be his mom, because Kanye's mom is called Donda. I believe that's why the album's named Donda. I guess that could be his mom on the track list. I don't know. Let's see if I use Tidal, so let's see if it says on. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the information yet. I mean, like I said, it only came out half an hour ago. So, but okay, weird intro. Weird intro. Could be his mom, so I guess that could be setting up the whole family themes of the album. But okay, second track, Jail. That electric guitar in the back is beautiful. Oh, it's gonna be good, isn't it? It's gonna be such a good album. Okay. So he's still on the religious kick he's been on recently, which is interesting. I thought that was going to be a heavy theme of this album. Already talking about God posting his bail, the whole redemption arc, as in like divine redemption, I suppose. It's interesting. It's interesting. Let's see where it goes. Oh, Jay-Z is already on it. I'd heard before the album, was it Friday? So 2 days ago, people were talking about on Twitter how Jay-Z's verse had been removed off of the album. So I guess that was a lie.
Roll. Total stop all of that red cat, we going home. Not me with all.
It's so interesting that Kanye West would allow Jay-Z to talk on his album about Kanye's past support for Trump. Obviously, that's what he's referring to with the red cat. It's really cool as well that even on this song, Jay-Z seems to be addressing Donda. He said, I can't remember exactly what he just said. It was something along the lines of, Donda, I'm with your son right now. Told him to stop wearing that red cap. We're going home. Or something. It's so interesting. I wonder what Kanye's political feelings are towards Trump now that he's out of office and now that that's gone, and that's yeah. Oh, it's good though. Jay-Z sounds so good. Okay, keep going. I hope it's the return of the throne. We need another Watch the Throne album. Okay, that was Jail. That was the second song. So I'm not going to be able to break down exactly everything that Kanye says and references and is talking about in every song. I'd love to be able to do that straight off the bat, and I am going to discuss some of what I think he's trying to say. But I'm a big believer in that I don't think you can ever understand everything off a first listen. So I liked it. It's a good start. Talking about the religious themes are still there. Like I said earlier, they're going to be there over the rest of the album, I think. The next song's called God Breathed. So Jail seemed to be a song about Kanye saying that he was trapped, I guess, or that he's done things wrong. There seems to be some sort of admittance that he's done things wrong, especially with that Jay-Z verse talking about the Kanye supporting Trump. That was really interesting. So I guess that was a bit of an admittance song to start off, especially if you're playing into the religious context and background that Kanye seems to have at the minute. Then that very much could be a kind of like almost repentance, or at least admittance of some of the things that Kanye seems to at least be addressing now. I don't know if he disagrees with what he once believed, especially with the Trump stuff. I don't want to get too political, but it seemed to be that kind of redemption discussion. So that was really interesting. Okay, so second track, God Breathed. I love the sounds. I'm loving the sounds already. I feel like I'm ascending listening to this. Just looked it up. Apparently it's featuring an artist called Vori. I don't really know who that is. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll check them out after this, after listening to this. Okay, that track, God Breathed, interesting. Kanye seems to be talking about knowing that God's put new life into him, or he's got new life into him. Like I said, it very much feels like some sort of ascension-y backing track to this song. Really ethereal, really kind of magnificent and very heavenly, I suppose. So that's really interesting. I don't think the lyrics are up on anything yet, so I guess the message is going to be very religious based. That's going to be for some people's liking, for other people it's not. I think a lot of people are going to be able to just, so far we're only 3 tracks in, but enjoy this just for the soundscape. Like, the music that's being used here is wonderful. He's clearly put a lot of time into this. By the way, that last song, Jail, apparently, other than Jay-Z, featured DaBaby, Francis and the Lights, and Marilyn Manson, but I don't know about that. Also, a bit of a questionable lineup. Not sure about that. Didn't hear them. Can't really comment on that. But yeah, okay, let's just move on to the next song. So the next song is Off the Grid, which apparently features Fivio Foreign and Playboi Carti. So let's have a look. That sounded like Playboy. Could be wrong. Love that transition into Fivio Foreign's verse. That was awesome. Okay, keep going.
They playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi, and his money could never neglect me. I pray that my family.
As somebody from England, it's football, not soccer. But still a cool reference. They playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi. Like that line. That was good. Oh my goodness. It was a good song. Off the Grid. Liked it. Talking a lot about his kids. Referencing his family a lot. And how he's been going through stuff. We know Kanye's personal life hasn't exactly been fully private over the last couple of years, which is another debate. I think the man deserves his privacy if he wants it. Using God as like a kind of leaning post, something that's been helping to get him through these difficult times in a way. And I think that's good. That's great. I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he's finding faith and something that is helping him to move forward. He sounds healthier on this song, and he sounds more confident in his faith discussion and in his religious kind of dialect than I think he was on Jesus is King a couple of years ago. When I heard that album, I think he was very much coming across as somebody who's just found faith, just found God for the first time or whatever, which was great, but who was kind of just shouting about it loads. This, or at least this song, and so far, seemed a little bit more calculated with it. Loved 5 Foreign's verse on here. So the next song is Hurricane. Okay, so I've been hearing people talk about this. So this is the one that features The Weeknd and Lil Baby. So big expectations. Big expectations. Already, The Weeknd sounds amazing. I mean, I loved After Hours. Probably my favourite album of last year. It is so good. So what was the song that he released? Wash Us in the Blood, the track he released last year during lockdown, I think. Wash Us in the Blood talked a lot about, there was a lot of similar imagery being used as there seems to be in this song about rain and being covered by something and taking away sins, past transgressions, moving on. I think that's really interesting. He's liked to do that a lot, hasn't he, so far? That those kind of triples. In poetry, you'd call them triples. They can be a poetic device, they can be a language device, but he's used triples a lot. So when he was just saying then, down, 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 something about town, 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 10, 10, 10, in, he's using a lot of these triples. He was doing it in the songs earlier. It's something that you often hear in choruses and in hooks on rap songs, maybe not as much in the verses, but I like it, it's cool. Okay, that was lovely. That was beautiful. Again, I'm already really enjoying this. So I think it's interesting. Kanye's doing a lot more, like I said, comparing this to, because obviously some of the religious themes are very similar, comparing this to Jesus is King, Kanye already seems to be talking a lot more about the wrong that he's done and the things that he's done that are wrong, and addressing that his life's been pretty messed up recently. And when I say the things that he's done wrong, I don't know his personal situation. I don't know what's been going on, but he seems to think that there's been things that have been going on. And I think that ties into the whole religious conversation, doesn't it? Of kind of like sinfulness. It was beautiful. It was awesome to hear Lil Baby on it. It was awesome to hear Kanye and, I was going to say Kendrick then, Abel, The Weeknd. Oh, he makes everything sound beautiful at the minute, doesn't he? I'm enjoying the start of the album. I'm enjoying I think there is more humility. Kanye's still being Kanye. You can't take Kanye out of Kanye. That makes sense. That was interesting, but at the same time, he was still talking, especially at the end, about everybody being really judgmental and stuff. And I agree. I think that people, especially, like I said earlier, with Kanye, with the Kardashians, with certain people, everyone seems to think that they have a right to know and understand their lives and everything that's happening and know what's going on. And I don't think that they do. I don't think we have any right to know about anybody's personal life. It's interesting. It's great to hear about it when they're talking about it, when Kanye himself is talking about it. And I agree that people can get very judgmental and people can get very critical of people that they don't know. But equally, Kanye has been, in the past anyway, quite public with a lot of the things that he said. He's gone on talk shows, he's gone on TV. His Twitter account is a wild place. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you really should. Although I don't know if he's got an account at the minute, because he constantly kind of goes off Twitter and comes back to it. So, but yeah, I guess it's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting discussion, and I think that I like hearing this side of Kanye. I'm finding it interesting hearing where he thinks he's at the minute in terms of his lifestyle and his choices and the choices that he's made. So let's keep going. So the next song is Praise God. Okay, so apparently this song has Baby Keem, who just released a track with Kendrick Lamar. It's really good, by the way. Travis Scott on, who I'm not surprised is showing up on this album, to be honest. So let's give it a listen. Okay, so it's called Praise God.
That she wrote, speech to the young. Praise God, walking out the graveyard back to life.
It's very staccato, pronouncing every syllable. It sounds like, was it Future on that? On the Was it on the Black Panther, the Black Panther soundtrack? Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm loving this verse. Okay, that was Praise God. I think that's probably the worst song so far. I'm not. I'll give it some more listens, but I didn't love the beat. It was a little bit basic, just with the 808 drum, bum 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 tss, bum tss. I would have loved more Travis Scott. We didn't really get a proper Travis Scott verse, or it didn't feel like we did anyway. Baby Keem was on most of the song, and not gonna lie, eccentric and wild and doing things, sure, but I don't think it was the best sounding I've heard Baby Keem. And it sounded like he was saying a lot without saying a lot, if that makes sense. But a lot of the lines he seemed to not be finishing. There's a technique in poetry called a possio. I always get this wrong. I think it's a possiopesis or something like this, right? But it's to do with not finishing your sentence. So starting a sentence in a line of poetry and not finishing it. And it's often used for dramatic effect. And in poetry, it's often kind of shown through the use of like ellipsis or like hyphens or whatever at the end of the lines. And you don't finish a train of thought either to show that you're carried away or that the ending is implied. But I'm not really sure Baby Keem was implying anything by not finishing some of his lines. So the next song is Jonah. Maybe that's just me being an English teacher. But when he said, way too many fallen soldiers, no, I can't forgot. Do you mean I can't forget? That's just a bad line. He sounds nice. That's not correct. Anyway, keep going. Vori's voice though is good. Okay, that was Jonah. Really interesting. Obviously, most people probably already know the story of Jonah. Jonah, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, was a prophet who was asked by God to go to the city of Nineveh to basically tell them that they were being really sinful and to try and spread the word of God to the people of Nineveh. But Nineveh was a really scary place and he didn't want to go. So Jonah ran away from God onto a boat. There was a big storm. Anyway, he ended up jumping off the boat. He got swallowed by a big fish or a whale or something. Swallowed Jonah, and Jonah was alive inside the big fish or the whale or whatever for a couple of days before he was eventually spat back out and went to Nineveh. But it's really interesting because that whole song seemed to be a song about being on your own, being alone, isolated, and needing to do work in yourself and needing to focus on your own mental health, your own position. I liked that song. It was interesting. It was good, and I really liked the comparison with Jonah. I think he could have mentioned it or referenced it a bit more in the actual song, but that seemed to be the point that Kanye was trying to get to, really. I think, anyway. Obviously, I can't know for sure, but the backing track kind of added to that feeling of loneliness and isolation and being on your own, having nowhere to turn to, and needing to trust in yourself. And obviously, Kanye talks a lot about God, so needing to trust in God to kind of help you change those parts of you that you're afraid of and scared and make you feel so isolated, and the mental health problems. So I think that was a really interesting song. I liked it. Okay, so the next track is going to be Okay.
Who said I did what did they do?
Lil Yachty, I heard rumour that he was going to be on the album already. That's really cool because years ago for the Life of Pablo opening kind of day when Kanye infamously played the album to everybody, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Lil Yachty was one of the models that was on the stage at the time. So that's so cool to see. Whether you like Lil Yachty's music or not, it's so cool to see him go from that, working with Kanye as a model, to now being featured on his albums. That's really cool. Anyway, let's hear what it's got to say.
Why the hell you hating so damn hard, so I must pay you? They don't keep me riding it cause I'm not a Zeus. Pass around to the thugs, want immunity boost. Double cup fell to the top,
I think I just got it. Tell him a story with a bad ending because I'm not a Seuss. Dr. Seuss. I get it. It's clever. Literature reference. I see you, Yachty. Like that. Rate that. Dr. Seuss, for those of you that don't know, he's the one that did Green Eggs and Ham. He did Cat in the Hat, Horton Hears a Who, all that kind of thing. So Kanye seems to be carrying on that theme of mental health and not being okay. The chorus, literally him saying, I'm not okay. I think there seems to be, I could be wrong, him talking a little bit to the music industry maybe, people that have been targeting him. Yeah, and how that's been really difficult. That's taken a toll on him. Clearly he wants to be making music again. Clearly he wants to be rapping and producing stuff again because he's back and he's doing it and at a good level. I'd like to hear a bit more switch up in terms of sounds, but this is a personal preference. That song did fit the aesthetic so far of this really kind of electronic, heady kind of 808 drums and these synthesizer sounds and being a bit ethereal, and I've used that word so many times already in this video, but being a bit ethereal, being a bit holy, heavenly like, spiritual, I guess. It does fit into it, but I would like to hear a bit of a change, especially because this album is like an hour and 48 minutes in its entirety, so I really hope we get a little bit of a switch up and a little bit of a change soon in terms of soundscape. But it was okay. Yeah, let's keep it moving. So the next song is Junior.
Junior watching on the devil, good night, go to sleep.
Oh, let's pause. Yeah, it was okay. It's catchy. Junior Watanabe on my wrist. Yeah, it's catchy. I like it. I like that kind. It's very much Kanye utilising. I mean, Playboi Carti was on it, so there's evidence for this. But Kanye kind of using or utilising that new era, new style of rap, trap, using a lot of ad-libs like in the background. Yeah, what, yeah, Okay, let's move on to the next one. And obviously we got Playboi Carti back on it again, so that was cool. So let's move on to the next one. Believe What I Say, let's go. Let's go. Okay, that was cool. I actually like that. I think that was quite a groovy song. That was a turn up again in terms of quality. I like that. I think that was a little bit of a throwback to like the 808 and Heartbreaks album time, maybe a little bit of the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy era of Kanye. I liked that. I thought it was good. It had I really liked the bass, the plucky bass in the background. Spoken word passage. Again, piece of poetry. Had this towards the end. I don't know who was speaking. They had a really cool, interesting voice. I'd be interested in finding out who it was. It's using this monorhyme system. So monorhyme means that in a stanza of poetry, or in the whole poem, it can even be, you stick to one rhyme. So I think Kanye was saying something about. It wasn't Kanye, but the person that was speaking, whoever it was using like believe, deceive, greed. After every line, it was the same rhyme, so it wasn't like rhyming couplets or like you have like the ABAB style. This was a mono-rhyme system. So that was cool. Yeah, I like that song. That was really cool. I like that. That was good. That's probably going to be a song I'm going to come back to for sure when I listen to this album through again. So now it's 24. Okay, that was nice. It was the most gospel-y we've got so far. That was the most similar track so far to Jesus is King, that whole like gospel album. Like I said, it's probably his choir on this. I know that they are littered over some of the tracks. Or at least that's what I heard from the listening parties. That song was basically sounding a little bit to me anyway like some sort of funeral eulogy. He mentioned something at the start about being gone too soon or something like that, I think he said. So yeah, that sounded a little bit eulogy-like to me. So I don't know if that was about somebody in particular. If it was, I'll put it up here now. Yeah, but it was nice. It was calm. Still like to see Kanye get the tempo going a little bit, but I understood, especially if it is about somebody close, I understood the place for that album, the place it had in this album rather. Okay, so Remote Control is the next song. Okay, that was Remote Control. Interestingly, I think from a language perspective, again, the remote control metaphor, the continued metaphor that he uses throughout the whole track, seems to be, or at least my interpretation of the song, is that he seems to be talking about life in general and being able to have everything so easily and everything being so easily attainable. Don't know what the weird sample was at the end. I'm sure loads of these little bits of samples and stuff are going to be things that will come out and I'll read about on Twitter or in reviews and stuff. Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. I like that song again. This album has a definite feel to it so far. We're only 12 tracks in, but it has a definite feel to it. So let's Moon is the next one. Let's keep moving. That was interesting because Kanye wasn't, I don't think, I might have missed it, but it didn't sound like he was on the track at all, so maybe that's a bit of an interlude-y thing. It was just Don Toliver and Kid Cudi sounding beautiful, really simple, melodic, the type of thing that you just want to fall asleep to. Okay, so the next one is called, next song is called Heaven and Hell. Already like the beat.
For him, save you, this show, movie, cause no one can play you. Devil, lay down, this, that.
I like that. I like that line. This your movie because no one can play you. I like that line. That's nice. It's nice, Kanye.
Devil make devils pray now.
Yeah, that was nice. It's a nice switch up. I think he's talking about not feeling safe and people not feeling safe. Being in a world where I think he mentioned the police and you don't want to call them, don't trust them. Essentially, don't trust the police. His message seems to be trusting God, and he seems to be saying that you need to be trusting that the Lord will protect you. It's interesting because it seems like there was one point where he was saying about you do this, I do that, you pray, we pray, something like that. And I think it was a call to come together. A call to support each other and be with each other. It's nice to hear that kind of rhetoric coming from Kanye. It's not something that he's always been renowned for discussing or talking about. So it's nice. It was a cool song. I like it. Again, fits in with the aesthetic of the album. So I see where he's going with this. Okay, next song, Donda. It's interesting. I think that might have been Ariana Grande. I guess she's not friends with Taylor Swift. Or Kanye and Taylor Swift are friends again now. I don't know. I don't keep track of a lot of that stuff, but it sounded like that was Ariana Grande in the background. So yeah, it was all right. It was a bit of an interlude. A big theme in this album of Kanye coming back to family, realizing how important family is. He seems to be suggesting that he's returning. I don't want to speculate on his private life. I don't know what's been going on, but seems to be suggesting that he's like returning and finding a new lease of life in his family and how important that is to him. His mother, he's already mentioned Kim, so I don't know how that's going, and his kids. So yeah, it was nice. Okay, so next song is Keep My Spirit Alive. Heard this rumoured as well. Heard it rumoured that he was going to be working with the Griselda Boys. So that's West Side Gun, who I've actually got a video that will be coming out. I've got a video about West Side Gun's most recent album that will hopefully be coming out in the next few days. So he would, wouldn't he? He's getting your Playboy Cartis and your Lil Baby, Lil Durk. He's already worked with them, and now he's working with the Griselda Boys. Very much feels like Kanye's doing a little bit of a Thanos. He's collecting all the Infinity Stones. He's working with your Jay-Z's. He's had a Lauryn Hill sample, so he's got the old guard. He's working with the new wave of your Lil Babies, your Lil Durks, the Baby, people like that. And then he's also got your underground rappers, the Griselda Boys. I don't know if other Griselda members are going to be on this song, but that's West Side Gun already. So, and there's Conway the Machine. We're only missing, and we're only halfway through, so we might get it, but we're only missing Benny the Butcher now, and you got all three. Yeah, that song seemed a little bit like a prayer, a little bit like thanking God for all the good things that Kanye has, but also taking away all the worries, struggles and problems that Kanye's been experiencing. I think that was very much an interesting one as well to have Westside and Conway on. I didn't hear Benny, could be wrong, but he might have been in the background, but I didn't hear Benny. But it was a really interesting track to have Conway the Machine and Westside Gun on, because those are two artists known for rapping about a certain type of lifestyle, drugs, the game. And they mentioned that on here. They didn't sway from that. And I think it was interesting having that parallel between, you know, the things in Kanye's upbringing and also Conway's and West Side's life and upbringing that were bad, or that didn't benefit them in a way, hindered or is hurtful to their life, and then still saying that you're glad that you've come from there because you are where you are now, and there's glory and goodness to be found in that. So it's a really interesting discussion. Yeah, I liked it. I liked West Side. Conway, who is Conway, just in case you don't know, is probably my favourite Griselda member, so I was gutted the verse wasn't longer, but you take what you get and you don't get upset. You get what you get and you don't get upset. Okay, so Jesus Lord is the next song. Hold on, this is a 9-minute song, so we're going to settle in and I'll see you at the end of the song. Oh wow, okay, that was a song that was intense. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that again a couple of times. The whole spiel at the end about Larry Hoover, I'm pretty sure that's the guy that Kanye, or one of the people that Kanye tried to get free from prison when he was talking to Trump. I don't know a lot about the situation. I don't know a lot about Larry Hoover or what he did or what he didn't do, so I can't really comment on that. So I'll have to leave that. But the verses, oh my goodness, Jay Electronica on that was wild. That was so cool. Kanye's verse as well. I can't remember everything he said, but he was talking about, there's this constant, isn't there? There's this constant theme through this album of like mental health and Kanye not being okay and realising who he is and coming to terms with his own mental state. And he talked on this song, something about being suicidal and feeling really down and dejected. And then he was talking about his mom. And he, pretty sure Donda, obviously, who this album's named after, it's about, I'm pretty sure she passed away. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she passed away a few years ago. He was talking about that desperate need to have her back and to see her again and to speak to her, and if he could have her back. And then that really interestingly paralleled with the story of, I guess, Larry Hoover, who the person talking at the end, I guess, was his son. Seems to be talking about his dad being incarcerated and in prison and needing him to be home and needing him to be able to see his grandkids and live a normal life and a regular life. So yeah, that was deep. That was something, yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to a few more times, I think, before I really get it in my head and really am able to dissect it properly. So we're gonna move on to New Again, the next song.
If I hit you,
yeah, that was an interesting song. There's not an awful lot to say about that. It was okay. It wasn't the best song on the album. It was okay. We're going to go on to track number 19, Tell the Vision. That's Pop Smoke. Very cool to see Pop Smoke on here. Didn't know he was on this one. I didn't know Pop Smoke would be a featured artist, so that's really cool to hear him on a Kanye project. I guess in a way that's quite a harrowing song. The piano melody in the back, dun 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 dun, got a little bit irritating, but I don't know if that was the point. It being a little bit harrowing and a little bit creepy. Obviously, Pop Smoke passed away recently. Rest in peace. And this song was just Pop Smoke. There was no Kanye on this at all. So again, it might have been a little bit of an interlude, a little bit like the Don Toliver and Kid Cudi one. So it was cool to see him on it. I didn't really like, I don't know if they were original vocals. I don't know if Kanye and Pop Smoke had worked together in the past and these were recordings, or whether these were recordings taken from an album that Pop Smoke had been working on, or a project he'd been working on, or just scraps that had not meant to see the light of day, because the vocals sounded weird. They sounded cut and chopped in a weird way. Like there was a filter maybe on Pop Smoke's voice or something, but it was fine. It was fine. Doesn't need to be taken off, but didn't really add much to the album, I don't think, anyway. Okay, so the next song is called Lord, I Need You. It was an interesting insight into Kanye and Kim, their relationship and the complexities and how difficult that's been. I keep saying through this that I don't really want to comment on his personal life, and I don't want to get too personal because it's none of my business. Whatever Kim and Kanye need to do and are up to, that's up to them. But obviously he's talking about it on the album, so this was not disrespectful. I didn't feel that. I guess I saw this song as a little bit of a request for help from God. He was talking about God again, obviously, and bringing that in, and requesting help from God. But looking back at the positives, that there sounds like there's been loads of positives in his relationship with Kim. I assume this is about Kim. I could be wrong, but I assume this is about Kim. But how difficult that's become recently. Yeah, it was an okay song. I don't think musically it did much interesting. If anything, I do think that the album fits cohesively so far anyway into one soundscape, but I think maybe it's just because it's such a long album that is dragging a little bit. So we're going to move on quickly to the next one, Pure Souls. Yeah, it was a nice song. That was a nice song. It was Roddy Ricch, but I don't know who the female voice was at the end, but she had a really nice voice, whoever she was. It was really cool. I think that was very much Kanye talking about, or responding. I think it was more of a response, responding to people that are like, oh, you know, that infamous line, they want that old Kanye, straight from the go Kanye, or whatever it is. I think that was very much a similar vibe, him talking about how he's quite happy with where he is now. He's quite happy with where he's or how he's feeling about himself and his career, and the desire for proving himself or showing off to people he doesn't really care about. It doesn't seem to be something so important to him anymore. It's a cool song, very chill, very melodic, like a lot of the songs on here really. Okay, so Come to Life, 22. Okay. Oh, that was a beautiful song. In terms of production, sonically, those pianos, those glittery pianos layered over each other in the background, that was so cool. Really enjoyed that. I could listen to that again for ages. Lyrically speaking, it's fine. Again, talking about this new lease of life he's got, this new rebirth. Yeah, I don't know, that song felt really heavy. That song felt really kind of something I need to digest, and something I want to go back and listen to again and try work out the tone of what he was saying. I think tone is really important in these discussions, because he can talk about his family, he can talk about Kim, he can talk about the media, paparazzi, people that have been hating on him, or people that have been having a go at Kanye for the last couple of years. You can talk about all these things, but the tone is really important. And I don't feel as much in this album that Kanye is being dismissive or sticking his middle fingers up to the world and saying he doesn't care about anyone's opinions or anything like that. The tone of these seems very kind of remorseful, somber, serious. Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said for Kanye's growth and progression on this album. All right, we're going to move on to the next track, No Child Left Behind. That's really weird. As I've been listening to this, a song has just been added to the track list. So we've now got, so No Child Left Behind is the next one. We've got Jail Part 2, which is after, which has just been added since I've been listening to this. That's wild. Okay, anyway, No Child Left Behind, let's listen. This is the snippet he had with the on the advert. This was the first snippet he used, wasn't it, for this album? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I don't think it was called No Child Left Behind at the time, but I'm pretty sure this was the first snippet that was used on that advert with that runner, the American runner, something Richardson. I forgot her name, but yeah, I think this is that.
Never count on y'all.
Yeah, there's not a lot to be said about that song. basically heard it before on the snippet. It's beautiful. It is honestly beautiful. The production is amazing. It's insane. He doesn't say a lot in it. It's just talking about God doing miracles on him. Yeah, okay, we're just going to move on to the next song, which is Jail Part 2. Okay, DaBaby, I get what you're saying, that you don't want to be just thrown aside and ignored and treated like garbage. I hear that, but what you said hurt a lot of people. What you said was really hurtful. Also not true. If you don't know, go check it out. I'm not going to discuss it here, but the conversation that DaBaby was having when he was performing at Rolling Loud or something recently was just really hurtful to a lot of people, and he got his guard up and he didn't back down from it. And he's saying here that I think this is what he's referencing, that people just didn't care for him anymore and just wanted to throw him out like garbage. And I get that, and it's not right to dismiss people, and people should be allowed to give their opinions, but equally, if you, DaBaby, are allowed to give your opinions and people are allowed to give them back, and you hurt a lot of people with the things that you said and it offended and upset a lot of people unfairly, you didn't need to say some of the comments you made. So don't go getting your back up against the wall and annoyed and upset just because people called you out for it and you didn't like that. Look, I like that song. It's a good song, it sounds nice, it's catchy, the flows are good, it works well. Why Kanye decided that getting Marilyn Manson and DaBaby on a track together would be a good idea, I have no idea. I understand having a heart for people that are lost and that need help, need guidance. I believe in second chances, I believe in redemption, I believe in helping people to see the errors of their ways, and I think that's a really important thing. I think that by giving, sure, Marilyn Manson doesn't do anything other than some backing vocals on the chorus, but giving, for instance, DaBaby space to, the whole verse wasn't about the current situation that he's been going through, but to at least give him some bars, some lines where he can discuss it openly, given the fact that this is still an ongoing issue and hurt a lot of people, regardless of what your beliefs are. It just seems questionable from Kanye to have done that and to go down that route, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like I said, good song. Anyway, okay, part 2. Okay, so the difference that time was that he took away the Lil Yachty verse and replaced it with that female artist, who I still don't know who it is. Awesome voice, sounds really cool on the track. I really like the accent. This album is long and it's difficult, but to get through a little bit. It's becoming a little bit difficult to get through, but we've only got 2 songs left, so let's... Okay, Junior Part 2. Okay, so the difference for Junior, or Junior, however you pronounce it, Part 2, was that he got Ty Dolla $ign on. It doesn't surprise me, Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign have worked together multiple times before. He sounded fine. It was a nice voice. I don't think it changed my life. I don't think it added anything that didn't need that wasn't already there. I don't think he said anything really. I mean, Ty Dolla $ign is not necessarily known for being the most lyrically diverse or lyrically wild. He doesn't, make a splash in that way. It's about his voice, and he does have a lovely voice. It's a really, really nice voice to listen to. Okay, so we are now on the last track, Jesus Lord Part 2. Okay, so that was the last song, so the only difference with that, it's the same as Jesus Lord, the first version, but this had the Locks on, the lot of them. So it had Styles P, Jadakiss, She Clouch, the Locks boys on it. So they added good verses, liked it, made it an even longer song. I'm not a big fan of songs that are, this one was this version was 11 minutes long, so I'm just not a huge fan of really long songs. But yeah, okay, so overall, how do I feel about it? How do I feel about Kanye's latest album, Donda? I think it's interesting. I think it's going to take me a little while to dissect and post-analyse a lot of the lyrics, a lot of the things he's talking about, how I feel about some of the sounds. I think production did get a little bit samey at times. maybe it's just because it's such a long album and I struggle with really long albums. Maybe it's because it went on for so long and was so tiring by the end of it that I just needed a break. There's no need for it to be that long. You could have cut a couple of the tracks out, I reckon. But equally, it's very much fits Kanye and gives you a great insight into where he's at right now, gives you a great insight into his mental health, does leave me with some questions regarding his personal life. I hope he's happy. I hope that his mental health is better than it has been, which is what he seems to be alluding to on this album. He seems to be alluding to the fact that things are getting better and that he's not struggling as much as he was. I liked it. It was very good. It was very good. Maybe not the perfect album that I was hoping for off my first listen this is. So I might do a review in a couple of days when I've had some more time, and I might upload a video in which I kind of say how I feel after a few days of letting it sit. But I think to give it a score, so as an English teacher, the way I'm going to be doing things are 1 to 10. Just feels more rounded for me. So when I give scores to albums, it doesn't mean the end of the world, doesn't mean that score can't change, and you have to bear in mind that this is my initial reaction, but I'm feeling like I'm going to give this, and I'm going to give them in points as well. So for instance, 1.7, 1.6, just to be more accurate, to give it almost like 100%, only I'm using 1 to 10 and then the points in between, but it's the same system essentially. So 8.5 is what I'm going to give it. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know in the comments. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this video. Like over the next week or so, hopefully a number of videos coming out. I've got one on West Side Gun, like I mentioned earlier in the video, coming out soon. And his Hitler Wears Homies 8. I think it was 8 that I listened to the other day and wanted to give my opinions on that briefly and a lot shorter. I know this video is long, so sorry about that, guys. But yes, so please drop it a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all later.